Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to break down what a 4-day-a-week work week looks like for an online coach. It is one of my beliefs that you should be working about 30 hours as an online coach. And if you are looking at working more hours, you should be earning 10K a month plus, so you can be reinvesting some of that money back into buying your time back, so you never really need to work more than 30 hours. Now, I'm going to say this with a disclaimer. There will be times in your business where you will need to do more than this, but it shouldn't be your whole business, okay? You shouldn't be working December to December, working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. You can if you absolutely want. I don't find people are productive enough to warrant that. I don't feel like people get more work done by doing more hours. They just spend more time at the computer rather than being more efficient. So I would always recommend to try and get things down to 30 hours. I actually managed to get our full business down to 1 day of work a week. Then I got bored and then I started another business, which is how I've ended up here. But it's actually really, really achievable. And most of our top clients manage to work a 4-day-a-week schedule. So I'm going to break it down. Before I go through the way to break it down, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so we do more videos, and I'm going to start walking you through step 1. Okay, so first step, we need to look at actually all the things that need to be done within the business. So the key movers, the really big things that need to be done. Now, the first thing is obviously going to be your content. You need to put content out there to attract people and to kind of, show people what you do and who you are. So content is on the list. Then we've got lead generation. Whatever your flavor of lead generation is, whether it's running ads, whether it's, outreach, whether it's affiliates, whether it's whatever, you're going to have to put some time and effort into that, either tweaking or testing or setting things up, or just doing the work in your inbox, whatever that looks like. There's going to have to be lead generation happening. You've then got sales. Okay. Again, whatever your sales process is, I would always recommend a Zoom call, but you need to have your sales time in there. Then you've got your client delivery time. So obviously one of the things with a coaching-based business and a service business is that you not only have to make the sales and do the marketing, you also have to actually deliver the service afterwards. So you've got client delivery, which will be a big part of it. And then you've got on the business tasks. So that will be any projects that you've got going on to move the business forward. So to recap, we've got content, lead generation, we've got sales, we've got client delivery, and then we've got on the business tasks. We need to make sure that in a standard week, all 5 of these things are done. So we're not dropping the ball on certain things and we're not missing out, okay? And we can make sure that the business is still moving forward. So we need to make sure we've got those 5 things. Now, the second thing is how much time we spend on those things. Now, this is going to be slightly different from person to person because everybody's going to be faster at certain things compared to others. Some people can do a check-in in 15 minutes, but it takes them an hour to write a piece of content. Some people, it takes them 30 minutes to check in with a client, but they can write content in 15 minutes, okay? So these are all variable. However, I'm going to give you a guideline that you can at least look at and probably, try and stick to. If you're going way over one of these things, it's probably a skill that you really need to work on developing so that you can get the time down and be more efficient with it. So 5 hours a week on content for planning, production, scheduling, actually getting it out there, I think is more than enough. That should do you at minimum 7 pieces of content for the week, which would allow you to put 1 piece of content out every day. That can be batched. So those 5 hours can be put anywhere in the week that you want. You don't need anyone like live to do that kind of stuff, which is good. You need to do 5 hours a week of lead generation. Now, if we're going to be effective, here's the best way to do it. I think if you're going to work for 4 days a week, you need to obviously do it every single day for those 4 days. You also need to make sure that you're splitting it up into the prime times to speak to your audience. Okay. So if you work with, teachers, 3 to 5 p.m. when they're finishing work, it's going to be a great time to message. If you're working with, people maybe that work slightly longer hours and then go to the gym afterwards, then you're going to want to be in their inbox a little bit later on. For like our business with personal trainers, it's a little bit like higgledy-piggledy. It's either really late at night, really early in the morning, or like in the middle of the day, like the kind of 6 to 9 a.m. hours, and the kind of 4 to 8 p.m. hours are generally obviously when coaches are in sessions. So it's about moving it around that. It's about making sure that those 5 hours are spaced in times where you're going to get the most replies. Same thing with sales, okay? Your 5 sales hours need to be on all 4 of those days. What you don't want is someone booking in for a sales call and then having to spend a week waiting to speak to you, because likelihood by then is they might have gone with someone else. They might have changed their mind. Their just motivation might have waned, as it does with people. So you need to make sure that those are equally spread as well. So lead generation and sales need to be done on a daily basis, obviously on the 4 days that you work. The same thing with client delivery, okay? I feel that if you're going to work 4 days a week, you should speak to most of your clients every single day on those 4 days. That gives you an optimal reach out time so that they're never going more than a couple of days without speaking to you, you checking up on things and making sure that they're doing okay. All right. And that's where you would work in your onboarding, your check-ins, and your client kind of communication elsewhere. That, again, I should probably recommend takes you, I've got it written down, bear with me, around about 10 hours a week. So we've got 5 hours a week for content, 5 hours a week for lead generation, 5 hours a week for sales. Then we've got about 10 hours a week on working with clients. Again, depending on your pace and how many clients that you can handle and what you actually do with your service, you're probably going to be looking at between, 20 minutes a client. So that should kind of do you 30 clients realistically. If you take more than that to deal, to do with your clients, which some coaches do, you need to really consider your price point and making sure your price point is high enough, because this is going to be you at capacity on a 30-hour work week. So you're going to now need money to reinvest back into the service to help you scale if you want to maintain your 4-day work week. If you want to maintain 4 days of work a week and you want to continue to grow your business, if you can only handle 20 clients in those 10 hours, you are going to have to make sure that those 20 clients pay you enough to get, in the 8 to 10K a month mark. So you're going to be looking at between £400 and £500 a month for clients. So you need to consider that within your pricing too. Then you've got 5 hours a week on, business projects and stuff like that. So creating lead magnets, creating email sequences, working on the next phase of your programming, designing new onboarding, learning if you're in a business mentorship, going to the calls, working with your coach, all of those things, okay, needs to be encapsulated in that 5 hours a week on the business. And then there's about, a couple of hours a week basically left for admin, depending on whether you've saved any time in this. And that's just tying things up, doing invoices and that kind of stuff, okay? So that is how you would work out a 30-hour work week, getting everything you need to be done. Okay. Now, the final step is actually putting that into some sort of schedule. Now, loads of people do this different. Some people do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and take Wednesday off to give them a bit of a break during the week. Some people do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Some people do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay. It's entirely up to you. I would recommend not doing weekends, purely because if you're trying to do lead generation and sales on those days, you're going to find it very difficult because people are out and about, especially in the summer and things like that. People aren't going to be sat indoors on the phones. They're going to be busy. They're busy with the families, busy with whatever they do on the weekends. So it's not going to be as efficient if you do those days on a Saturday or Sunday. The second thing I would do was make sure that you batch the things that you can. So do things in chunks. Don't do an hour of content, an hour of client delivery, back to an hour of content, back to an hour of sales, because your brain takes time to switch from one task to another. It's best for you to just get in a rhythm, and then you will be faster at getting that done. So the things that you can block together, block them together. My third piece of advice would be that if you don't have a full quota of sales calls, so if those 5 hours of sales aren't full, replace it with lead generation until they are. So you could potentially be doing 10 hours of lead generation over a week if you've not got any calls. But now the goal, obviously, of the lead generation is to book the calls. But if you've got 2 or 3 spare spots, remember, you're only working 4 days a week. Don't take it as, I've not got a call in there, I'm going to go do something else. Make sure that any spare time is being moved towards lead generation, because that's going to help your business move forward. So that is a 30-hour work week for an online coach. There's probably many of you that are looking at that thinking, I work way, way more than that. How is that possible? Please feel free to leave a comment below. Let us know what you're doing. Maybe we can save you some time. If you want to discuss it on Instagram, message me at Steve_FBU. We can have a chat about maybe where you're wasting your time or where it could be improved. But I think if you follow that schedule, you should be able to build a very successful business while only working 4 days a week.